everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and today I am looking at the MAKSELIFE Undated 6-month planners in depth. They do come in 2 colors currently, and this is a completely new product for MAKSELIFE. I did an overview of everything I received, so you can check that video out if you want to see the other offerings from MAKSELIFE. Today we're just going to talk about the 6-month Undated. I ended up getting both of the covers, the blush and the taupe. And I also got one in a vertical and one in a horizontal, so you can see both layouts up close and personal today. So we're just going to walk through this system. These are very similar to the flagship planner, except they are just half of a year. And they are on the COIL. So one thing I have already noted, I started working in this one tonight, and I flipped through the daily a little bit as well. I noticed that the coils are not exactly lined up. You can see the top coil is like inward a little bit. It's not parallel with the rest of the coil, and same on the bottom there. That bottom one is a little bit warped, so I will have to get pliers to make those line up a little bit better. I was having trouble flipping the cover, and I realized that was why. Both of these ends are not lined up exactly right, so it's the same on all of my planners. That's just how they bent their coil, but it makes it hard to flip the cover. So keep that in mind. You will have to bend it a little bit if yours comes a little bit wonky like that. It's a quick, easy fix with some pliers, so I will fix it myself. I just wanted to let you guys know of that because I did have trouble flipping it all the way around, which I'll show you. Each one of them does come with a band, and all of the bands are gray. So let's talk colors really quick. This blush is a very earth-toned, brown-toned, warm pink. It's not a very baby pink or bright pink or anything. It is very much earthy tone. So I do have something that's like a babyish pink right here, and you can see it's much different than that. It does have that earthy undertone to it. It is pretty neutral. It just has that littlest hint of pink, and I actually really like the color. I would have liked any shade of pink, really. So I'm pretty happy with that color. And then the taupe is a warm toned gray. It is a little bit on the brown side. I think on the camera it's picking up mostly gray, which I feel like is really accurate. I feel like this band is extremely gray, and then you can see this has a little bit of warmth or brown mixed into it. I did hold it up against my wall in the unboxing video, so you can see it against a true gray beige color, or grayish. I think it does lean a little bit on the browner side of gray, but it's still very much a dark, deep gray, and I really think it's pretty. I would wish that they had matched the band up exactly, because I do find that they're 2 separate colors, but very close together. I don't know, it's weird on your eyes. On this one, I think it's great. I love the gray against the blush. I think it's beautiful like that. So we're going to set the taupe aside real quick and walk through the blush right here. This one is the horizontal orientation. I already started working in this one, and I'll talk about that when we get there, but I'm going to walk you through all of the goal setting stuff. By the way, these planners are the typical 7x9 planners, and the one thing to note, while it is a coil bound planner, it has one more ring than the Erin Condren covers. So the covers are going to need to be tweaked if you're going to use them with this system, or you're going to have to hack it a little bit. I will have a video in the future talking about interchangeable covers with these MAKSELIFE planners, because it is a little bit more difficult. They're not going to just slide on and off really easily. So keep that in mind. So walking through, the cover is labeled as Saffiano vegan leather, and that means it's plastic. So it's a really nice feeling thing. It feels coated, nice material. Everything feels pretty solid. It's backed on cardboard or cardstock. It's very thick and feels really high quality. The corners, you can see the corners are a little bit flimsy and bendy, and I don't know how they will hold up over time, but I feel like they'll be fine since this is a nice coated material. I don't think it's going to mess up over time. But that's just something to know. All the corners where they have pulled the cover around and stretched it over whatever's inside of this, they are a little bit softer at the corners. And then walking in, it's got the pinstripe design on the inside of the covers. That's on front and back, even though there's a pocket on the back side. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter and show you guys the goal setting system. This is a very simplified start of the goal setting. You You can see it's just a few pages of goal setting stuff. I feel like it's not super intensive or laborious. I did end up going through all of it. I am using the 2022 flagship, so I went ahead and went through the prep today, and I don't know, it took me like an hour, maybe at the most. I already kind of had my annual goals outlined, so I just tweaked it according to how it fit in with the categories and what she explained. There is a lot of explanation stuff. It's not a whole lot of writing, but it's a lot of words. So talking about the different sections. It is a lot of reading, but I feel like it is a quick read through. So it's not a super complicated system that's going to trip you up or anything. I feel like it walks you through well enough that you can get through it. So looking here, this is the cover page. And again, it's undated 6-month horizontal edition. You got a place for name, phone, email in case you have to take it out and lose it. And then you get a letter from Sierra Friend, who is a life coach. She is the owner. She's the one who created this. And this is their 3rd year making planners. And it is on a little tab here for the goal setting section. It's like your prep work, if you're familiar with Power Sheets. And the paper quality is really, really nice. I would say it's smoother than Erin Condren paper, but not smooth like Plum Paper Planner, where it's almost like a semi-gloss paper where kids can tend to skip on it. This paper, I've written on it a bunch today and it holds up really, really well. I haven't had any bleed through or shadowing or anything, and every pen I used was fine. So I really, really like their paper. I like the color of it too. It's a nice bright white paper. And then walking through, it tells you how to get started. It talks you through each part of the process. There's 5 steps in their goal setting process. And then you get to the compass assessment and you take this quiz here. You number everything 1 to 10, how you feel about each statement. Each section is divided out into the 8 categories, which we'll talk about in a second. So you go ahead and score yourself, and then you fill out your compass. And that is kind of like your baseline for things. And then you talk about your intentions that you want for the year. You're setting your goals. It gives you some questions to think about as far as how you set your goals. It also has more ideas here about examples of how to set your goals. It's saying short, memorable, 3 to 10 words, right? Approach goals versus avoidance, and also measurable and specific. So it gives you lots of tips on how to best write your goals. And then it talks about the different kinds of goals. They divide it into stretch goals, progress goals, and maintenance goals. And then it gives you the process for setting your annual goals, breaking it down by monthly, breaking it down weekly, and then this is your weekly reflection questions, and these will come up again every week. It just gives you the question and an explanation for each of the questions there. And then here are the actual 8 categories that you're going to work with, and I really, really like the system. I like that it's, first of all, that it's color-coded, and second of all, that they give you lots of different pieces in each category to think about. So maybe you're drawing a blank on personal. It gives you lots of things that you can think about, like self-image, self-worth, self-love, self-care, confidence, happiness, peace, on and on. And so you can plan your goals based on some of these things on here. I ended up basing a lot of my personal goals on routine. I need to really streamline some routines. So that's where most of my annual goals came from. But these are the different categories. We've got personal, fun and recreation, work and learning, family and relationships, health and wellness, spiritual and personal growth, financial and physical environment, which I really like that they included your physical environment, because I feel like that's such an important thing. I feel like my brain gets totally frazzled sometimes, and then I was like, oh, the house is a mess. I need to make the kids pick up their toys and clear up the counter space if the counter's cluttered. I really feel like the whole house looks a mess, so I really like that that is incorporated in. So clutter is actually one of the words on here. Organization is one, but I really want to work on a lot of house projects this year, so this one will really be a big topic for me to make goals for. And then here it says, use this space to create a list or mind map of ideas and dreams and goals. So you can use that however you want. And then here are the annual goals sections. They are half-page sections for each of the 8 goals. So you get 2 pages to cover all 8 goals. And each goal has this line here that's the same color as the top bar. And that's your focus line. So you kind of just, come up with a word that's going to encompass your goals, or come up with a phrase that's going to go with it. And then you have room to write your goals as a paragraph or a checklist or however you want to do it. And then each one has the same question underneath. And it says, how will my life improve by reaching these blank goals? So in this case, it's personal, fun and recreation, etc., etc. So it really helps you think about how it's going to go and think about why you're doing the goals. And that's going to be important to get you through week after week and month after month of chugging away at the goals. You want to always have your why right there. So you get that for every goal, and then you move into a vision board here so you can map out the vision for the year. And then you get some goal setting quick tips here. And then you start the planner. So as I said, this is undated, so you do actually get the tabs, which I think is awesome. A lot of undated planners that I've seen don't include the tabs, which is kind of annoying. You have to tab it yourself, but this one is already planned out for tabs. Like the cover protects the tabs, which is really nice. So they are unlabeled, as you can see. So they do include in this back pocket here a set of the labels, which I'll show you on my other planner. I did get this one set up for December. So I went ahead and stuck the December tab on there. So it's white writing on a clear label, and it gives you two. So you can use them for two separate tabs somewhere, or just front and back, which I happen to do this time, which I'll show you what I did setting this up here in a minute, but I'm just walking through like the basics of the planners. Each tab, they're the same material as the paper. I don't know that they're any thicker, maybe just a hair thicker, but it's really hard to tell. They feel pretty much the same, but the tab is nice and thick and laminated, so I think the tabs will hold up over time. And the pages are really clean, so you can add stuff to this page or decorate it however you want. I like that they kept it simple. It says just begin. So there's different little phrases or sayings or affirmations on the bottom section here, and it is in the rainbow colors. So the words are really simple, sans serif font, and it's just really pretty, really sleek and streamlined, and I really like that. So I'll flip through all 6 of those really quick. We've got just begin, trust yourself more, no one benefits when you play small, and again, like the rainbow looks really pretty on that one. Progress, not perfection. Do is scared. Learn to rest, not quit. Invest in your future self. So this is the assessments tab once you get past the 6. And then there's also an extras tab, which goes straight into something. So it's not labeled like the monthly tabs and the assessment tab here. So moving into what the month looks like, it is undated. So it has this dotted line for you to add your month. It has a quote up here at the top for each month. And then the monthly calendar is nice and big. It takes up most of the spread, but you can see there's no numbers. So you have to do it yourself. There's also a big long thing for notes, which I think is great. I like to use that for various things, depending on what I'm putting in my monthly spread. And then moving in, you get a monthly goals page. So you're breaking your goals down a little bit more. You also get a quote here up at the top. Again, everything's color coded. I really like the sleek look with the bars and the icon there. And again, there's also a line for the focus, and the line is the same color as the bar and that month's category. And then you move into something that you're going to get every week. You're going to get this reflections page and also the weekly actions, or breaking your goals down for the weekly goals. So this one is really, you could do whatever you want with this, but it gives you your reflection things up here at the top. Reflect on wins, what worked, what didn't work, lessons learned, and adjustments needed. And that is also, if you'll remember, we talked about this over in breaking your goals down, your weekly reflection questions, they give you more to work with here. So you may end up referring back to this if you need more guidance than just, the couple words, but this may, over time, like once you're using the system, these will spark enough so that you can write all the things you need based on this, and you won't have to keep flipping back to this. But I feel like the first few months, I'm going to be flipping back and reading this again to be able to reflect on everything. Or I guess the first few weeks, since you get this every week. It's not a monthly reflection, it's a weekly reflection. And then down here, it gives you some sort of coaching tip or trick. So I think that's a really great addition. So every week you get some sort of little snippet, and I think that will help just build the goals. So here is the weekly actions page. It's just broken down a little bit smaller. So as you can see, the annual goals have a half a sheet, the monthly goals have a quarter sheet, and then the weekly actions get an eighth of a sheet. So you're breaking it down smaller. You should have pretty smaller digestible chunks from week to week. Again, you have that line so you can have your focus for each section up at the top here. So you can break it down like that, or you can leave the focus off of this one since it doesn't necessarily say the word focus. You can play around with this and use it however you want. I probably will try different things from week to week to see what works best, because this is a whole new concept for me. And then here is the horizontal layout, which I think is really, really pretty. Now, I had really considered buying one of the flagship planners in the horizontal to just use for journaling, but I thought that was wasteful since I already had quite a few other things that I could use for that. So I got this one to maybe play around with the journaling idea, maybe just play with it from month to month since it is undated. I can just kind of dabble with it, but I just wanted to like see it in person, have it in my hands and see what I think of it. Just initially, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's set up really, really well. Since it is undated, you would have to put your own numbers from week to week, and it is a Monday beginning section there. You get a full section for every day of the week, including the weekends. And then you have this little notes section and also a habit tracker, which I absolutely love the habit tracker. Vertical also has one on the weekly spread. And then it has this little heart, and that is to remind you of gratitude. So I think that's great. You can write some gratitude down at the bottom there, or just be mindful of it. I think some people end up using the heart as a self-care thing. So like having one self-care little thing a day would be great. You also get this unlined box to do with what you want. And every week you get that 2-page spread. So you get the reflection, the weekly actions, and the weekly spread. And each one of these sections has 5 weeks, so you'll be able to get your whole month in the section. So we're going to walk through. They're all the same. I'll just flip through so you can see it just alternates the 2 different layouts, the goals layout and then the weekly spread layout. And then you get to the end of the month, which is your monthly reflection. Questions just to answer at the end of the month. You can kind of rank it says rate your overall satisfaction for the month. So you have 1 to 10. You can see how the month went. Gives you lots to think about, and then you move right into the next month. And this is the same all through the whole thing. It is very neutral for the actual like spreads themselves. They're very neutral. So you can really decorate these however you want if you're a planner decorator. And so moving in, all the months are the exact same. And with the flagship planner, you get quarterly check-ins. For this, you don't. You get these assessments here to cover your quarter 1 and quarter 2, which I think is nice how they broke this down. You get a little more room to work with your quarterly assessments in this orientation versus the flagship. For the flagship, all of this is kind of condensed onto one single page, where this you get 2 pages. So here is the quarterly assessment number 1, which is, your first 3 months in your book. It's the same compass. You take the same questions from the front of the planner in the goal setting section. You rate your current against your previous. Overall, your scores increased, decreased, stayed the same, and then you answer some questions about it. And then you get 2 of these. Since it's 6 months, you get 1 for each of the 3-month sections. And then for the extras here, you move right into a future planning section. You got 6 months here, and then you have a lot of lined paper. You can see that. Let's count them here. So you get 10 front and backs, and then a half of one. So 21 pages here to write notes, and I got something on mine. And then you get a pocket folder with the little date things that I mentioned earlier. And then you get your pocket. It's nice and coated and durable. I think it will hold up for the 6 months you're using the planner. You get a front and back little slide there. And then you get a sheet of stickers. And I will say these do feel matte, so I feel like you probably could write on them, like these little banner things you may want to write on. I don't know that you'd need to write on these unless you're check boxing or check marking using those. But I have a recommendation if you are writing on stickers or writing on washi tape. I recommend these slick writers. These are from American Crafts. You can buy them in most box stores have these. There's also some that you can get from scrapbook.com. I will link to these to find them. They are great for writing on any kind of slick surface like a photo or washi tape. They do have these awesome checklist washi tapes at MAKSELIFE. I ended up getting them, so you can check these off really easily with these slick writers. So I recommend, I have like tons of these things. I buy them in 3 packs. So I have lots of them. They're not all functioning right now, but there's different sizes. So we've got fine, point. I don't know if I have any other sizes right now. Yeah, I think all of these are fine points, but I have them on my desk at all times because I really like those. I use those for journaling a lot in my scrapbooks, so I just have a lot of them. I always have them handy, but they're great. I recommend them to anybody who's going to be writing on washi or writing on stickers. So without watching through everything, there's an accordion folder back here, so you can stick some more things back there. And so walking through, I really love everything about every one of the MAKSELIFE planners that I have looked at or tried out. And let me tell you, I found that I really liked the little monthly stickers that they have. So if you don't want to write in your numbers here, you can use the stickers. So I will show you that in the other planner now. I was actually working in this and getting it set up for December. It is Thanksgiving break, so I had a little bit of extra time So this is set up the exact same way, all the goal setting stuff, and then I put the tab on and I put the stickers on. So I ended up doing all of the circles. Now these are really small. I'm not used to stickering things. And so I find that some of my numbers, actually probably all of my numbers, are a little bit wonky and sideways. So that is gonna take some getting used to for me. I thought about like grabbing my tweezers and trying to line them up better, but I just went for it. So they're not exactly over the little circle thing. Some of them look like they have little like shadows behind them because my alignment is not that great. But I found that the little title here was too tiny for this big section up here. So I used it for the monthly goals. I just put December right here, which I'm not going to walk through the goals for this video, but I ended up making my own headers. I used the Silhouette Cameo and the software that it comes with, and just finding a pretty font I liked. I printed and cut it with my Silhouette Cameo, printed it with my actual just physical printer, and so I made my own titles here. You can see I made my cute little titles for the top. Now I will say I did not have to cover up the actual days because they were here, but I thought while I was already making the stickers, I wanted to make it all fancy. So that's what it normally looks like. And then I doctored it up. So I'll show you my first week here coming up. Okay guys, that's the second time this has happened to me where my camera cuts off and I don't realize it because I talk too long. So I was going to talk about my week here. So I ended up printing it up. This is going to be next week since it's Thanksgiving week. I actually didn't use a weekly planner. I just stuck to the daily this week. So I am transitioning into this one for the month of December. I went ahead and made all of my titles, which I ended up making a whole sheet of print and cuts. These are just old labels, like old shipping labels I've kept all these years from owning a scrapbook store, making labels and having to print a ton. So I ended up actually making the Sunday start all the way through, and I didn't realize I did that until I went to sticker things and I realized I don't need the 28th. So I ended up just moving it around for this time and putting the Sunday here. I will do better next month, but it took me, I don't know, like 20 to 30 minutes to map this all out. I will be offering some sort of SVG file or printable file in future months, but not for December. I will start that in January, and they will be available that you can use your Cameo or you can just print on sticker paper and cut around them. I don't know what route I'm going to be able to share that with you. I may go Etsy or something else, but I have to look at what types I'm using because there are restrictions on how to use the fonts, like the font files. So I will have to be really careful with how I go about that and make sure I'm using fonts that are allowed to be used. So I was lucky that this number was a 28 and then the Sunday down here was 2. So I could just cut off the 8 for that one. But I had a lot of fun putting these together. I really, really like it. I will do some tutorials so you can make some yourself, but I will also be offering files in the future because I feel like some people probably will not like the actual designing of it, but I love that. I love designing typography type stuff. So I had a lot of fun picking out the font and matching it with like a blocky type of text. I like the brush script against the blockier numbers, so I really, really like that. For this week, I'm using one of the daughter pens. I'm just going with green since it's Christmas. I thought about alternating every day, but I thought that would get too complicated having to switch my marker. And yeah, I have my goals already mapped out, which I'll talk about in a different video, but I ended up writing down here, work on goals every day. So I will end up like adding things to the to-do list. It'll basically be a running to-do list when I'm using it. I don't know that I'm going to be using it daily in conjunction with this, but probably I will because I'll have to map out some more things. So I have my things over here. I really, really love the habit tracker. I'm not sure what I'm doing with the bottom section yet. Up at the top, I wrote like important appointment type things, and then my like standing weekly to-dos are on here as well. The weekends are just going to be scheduled things. I don't really plan a lot of to-do list things for the weekend, so that'll probably be all as far as the weekend stuff. But I really, really liked making my own headers for this. I was thinking I would just sticker it using these, but then I realized I only had enough for the actual month. My recommendation to you is if you're not going to be crafty and cut them out yourself, I would just get 2 packs of these and then you can do the numbers, because I didn't have to cover up the days of the week, which I may have already said. I don't know exactly where I was when I cut off, but I didn't have to cover up the Mondays and Tuesdays. They're really a clean, nice font, but I wanted it to be fancy since I was already going there. I thought might as well just do the whole thing, but you can totally get away with just buying 2 packs of these stickers and then you're done for an entire year as far as stickering things. But I went a little bit fancier because I felt like, you know, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just design fancier ones than just numbers. So I just really like the layout. I feel like it's sleek. I found that I have enough room. You can tell I'm a bigger writer. I write really big. So I was able to get like 2 words on some of the lines. But otherwise it's going to be me taking up, you know, writing 1 word things or a couple words taking up 2 lines. I figured I would probably just try to skip 1 space between, but I had already written the sheets and towels before I wrote in the other things. So I may end up bringing my to-do list down a little bit further from week to week. This is just my first initial trying this out, so I'm gonna see where it takes me. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys like in real life using some of it. As far as bleed through here, I don't have any bleed through. I am a heavy writer. I do press pretty heavy, so I feel the ridges on the back side, like I can feel them and I can see some of the ridges, like if I'm looking at an angle, but otherwise nothing's really like shadowing through. You're gonna see the writing just because there's white behind it, so you're gonna get that a little bit of shadowing. That does not bother me at all. And then the daughters, I used some really dark colors on the weekly goals page, and only one of them showed through. I can't see the dots for anything else, and I used 3 pretty dark colors, and only 1 color ended up shining through. So I feel like that's pretty good. It's not bleeding through all the way, it's just shadowing. And I think that that's really good. I feel like the paper quality is really nice. I enjoyed writing on it. It was really a nice, smooth writing experience. I don't know how else to put that. But all in all, I'm really excited to dig into this, try it out for the month, and I will be doing a review of it after my first month in the actual planner using the weekly goal pages. I just lined it up with my tending list for December, and I'm going to be breaking it down from week to week, which I really like. So again, every week, just like with the horizontal layout, you get the reflection, the goals sheet, and then the vertical spread like this. So that's pretty much it. I was just going to walk you guys through the whole thing. I really like it. The only thing I gripe about is the cover. I'm not a huge fan so far of the cover because it's just so thick. They're so nice and pretty, and I don't know, they have this little texture, and it's like a little bit of a rubbery feel to it, which I really like. I just think it feels really nice. I feel like the quality is there. I really like the texture on it. I think it's beautiful with the little like debossed print there. I love that it's on the spiral. I just wish the flagship was on the spiral. I think that's the only thing that would make the flagship better, and I will be going into the flagship dated planner for 2022, but I'm going to be dabbling with this on and off, especially because I can't use the other one yet. It doesn't start until January, so I get to use this undated one a month early, which kind of feels like cheating, which I'm super excited about. But the only gripe I have is the cover, because I don't necessarily flip it the best every single time I'm flipping it. So we will see about that. All in all, I think it's going to hold up really well over time. It's nice and sturdy, but that is just a personal preference for me. I really wish I could just change them out with Erin Condren covers and not have the big bulky cover, because I find that it's a little cumbersome and I'm not sure I'm going to love it. Maybe I'll grow to love it, but my first initial using it the last couple of days, I'm just not a huge fan so far. The colors are beautiful, the quality is great. It's just the functionality for me. But anyway, overall, still love everything. Super excited to use this, and I hope you guys like this little walkthrough of the 2022 lineup. Even though these are undated, they are just new products to the store. I do have affiliate links listed in the description box down below. It doesn't change how you shop, but it gives me a little percentage of the sale, so it keeps me stocked in planners and able to make more videos for you guys. So I would really appreciate if you found this video helpful and you're going to do some MAKSELIFE shopping. I would really appreciate if you use those links for me, and thank you ahead of time if you end up using those links. But anyway, hope you guys liked this video. If you have any other questions, let me know. I will be doing future videos on the MAKSELIFE planners and reviewing them as I go. But so far, I'm just really in love with it, super excited about using them, and I wanted to share with you the 6-month undated because it's such a new fun planner to add to your list. So I hope you guys like this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me along. Happy shopping if you're going to do some MAKSELIFE shopping, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye.